Hello everyone, there are tutor. Today is talking about is material design, and my group is confirmed is the my person Ana Maria Navarro, Ronald Fabian Macias, and Angelica Andreina Botello. And today is taking about for the design of materials for education, is the culture for the United States, is the influence for the learning of second language. Okay, so is the introduction, is the design of the t-shirt materials, is the fundamental in the process learning. For example, is a new language or a second language. Is the materials adapt is the needs, interests, level. Um, is the level for a student, for example, in these materials is the facilitate, is the language compression, audio compression practice, exercise practice, dynamic and mindful, is a touch, visual, auditory and interactive recourse, is the promote and the active participation for the student, is the strength is the communication skills.
Hello everyone. Now I'll start by explaining the objectives of our materials, okay? First, we aim to help the students determine the general and specific information from short reading text in English, okay? Second, the activity promotes the vocabulary acquisition through contextualized reading exercises instead of learning isolated words, for example. So the students are going to encounter the vocabulary in real cultural situations. And third, that goal is to increase the vocabulary, specifically about food and fashion culture, which are familiar and meaningful to learners. Okay, these objectives support not just linguistic development, but also the intercultural competence. Okay, encouraging the students to reflect on language and culture together.
Hello everyone! To start this presentation, I would like to talk about the cultural background of your project. United States is a country known for its cultural diversity. This is the result of many years of migration and contact with different cultures around the world. That diversity can be seen in the language, traditions, and ways of the communication. It also affects how students learn, especially when English is taught as a foreign language. In the US, the English language includes many expressions and idioms that are part of the country's identity. For example, phrases like "break the ice" or "hit the books" are common in American English, but their meaning is not always clear for foreign students. This shows that language and culture are deeply connected. When they teach or learn a language, we are also learning about the culture behind it.
Now we have here the resource one instructions. Okay, I'm going to explain you how to use this first resource with the students. Okay, first, the teacher shares the Canva link where the worksheet is hosted, and once the students access to this, the teacher can invite a volunteer to read the main text aloud. Okay. Second, after reading, the students are going to answer the first question, which is a vocabulary matching activity. This could be developed in a participatory way too. And this means that the students could respond as a group or individually, okay, depending on the dynamic. And third, the class discusses the true or false statements based on the reading. Okay, this with the idea to encourage them to think critically. And finally, they complete an open-ended question where they compare the mealtime traditions between the US and Colombia. Okay, here the teacher could provide feedback and clarification on any language or content dots. Okay, and now here we have the main worksheet titled Food Culture Exploration. Okay, It consists of two short, culturally rich reading passages, and the first one is about Thanksgiving in the United States. It's a celebration centered on family, gratitude, and food. And the second one explores the Colombian food traditions, including regional dishes like the ajiaco, sancocho, and the concept of sobremesa. Okay. On the right side, we have the three types of exercises that the students are going to complete. First, they match the new vocabulary with the definitions from the text, and second, they analyze the statement to decide whether they are true, false, or not stated. And finally, they answer a free response question that prompts them to compare the cultural practice described. Okay. The idea here is to integrate the reading comprehension, vocabulary building, and cultural awareness all in one dynamic. Okay.
Okay, this continues is the resource number two is, for example, is the following link for the next slides is the text for the fashion on United State, and the text is the talking about, for example, is the new the fashion type the models. um, and the number two is that by clicking on the link, you will text about fashion on the United States, which you can a reading comparison session with your student. Is, for example, the teacher is the compare for the text in their your student is for the parts, and after reading the text, turn a second page where I will question about the text is the your compression for the text. After answering on the question and the text, you ask your student, for example, where your question should has, do you like fashion shows? What country other is the United States do you think has prevalence say fashion? Is the finally is the provide feedback for the student on the text, or for example improve compression of short readings in English, or for example grammar review the text. Okay, and the so is the example of the link is the function in the United States and the culture expression and innovate in design of the word is the text. Yes, is the question is, for example, is the read compression for the 10.
Okay, so let's start. My resource 3 for my contribution to this collaborative task, I create a reading activity using Canva designed for intermediate level students. You can access it through the link shown here. On the first page, the students will find a complete reading passage about the 4th of July. The text explains its historical origin and the way people celebrate this holiday today. Then students will complete vocabulary, mention, and compression questions based on their reading. On the second page, they will find discussion prompts to talk about national celebrations and values in their own country. Finally, they are invited to write a short paragraph about a national holiday in Colombia. This material encourages not only language learning but also cultural comparison and reflection. Now, let me explain the structure of the worksheet I designed. The reading passage is titled The 4th of July, a celebration of freedom and identity. It is carefully writing text that describe how Americans celebrate their independences, including parades, fireworks, traditional songs, and symbolic colors. The vocabulary activity helps students connect words like commemorative, unit, and declaration with their correct meanings. The comparison question seeks understanding and makes students think about the main ideas. The speaking section invites students to share their opinions and compare cultures, and the writing task helps them apply what they learned by writing about their own traditions. These structures allows teachers to use the activity in both in-person and virtual classroom. To conclude, this collaborative project allowed us to explore how language and culture are strongly connected. By designing reading activities by cultural contact, we not only help students improve their English skills, but also encourages them to reflect on values, traditions, and identity. Understanding cultural elements help create more meaningful learning experiences. We hope that this material can be useful and inspiring for both students and teachers in this language classroom.